Good afternoon. We know you are all fans of my mom, Katherine. We're honored to be here in her place. That's my little sister. To the members of the National Women's Hall of Fame, on behalf of Katherine and me, and to the new honorees as well, I'd like to thank you for a very prestigious honor for her, and for her to be inducted into the National Women's Hall of Fame. And to the other 20, 21, and 22 inductees, I congratulate you, and I know that Mom would be very happy and honored to be in your company. In fact, even those who are not still living, she's lived long enough to have known the history of everybody. Because she said, I was 101 and a half. It's not easy for us to summarize in 5 minutes the life of our mother, who many of you have heard of, who lived to be 101 and a half. She would also always say, I don't know what all this fuss is about. I was only doing my job, and I did it well. What have you not heard about her? She was a very humble, maybe precocious, but normal person. I always felt she was a born teacher. Mom always wanted her classmates to know what she knew. As a youngster at 4, she helped her brothers because she understood their arithmetic problems better, sooner. She would ask her teacher to repeat the answer to a question she'd ask in class because she knew her classmates didn't understand what the teacher had said. The teacher said, why are you asking? She said, they don't know what you said. One of Mom's principles was always do your best. She said you can do no better than that. She was always interested in learning. One of her daily questions to us was, what did you learn today? And that was true even until she was 101. In fact, we were at a conference, we took her to be honored, and we were there, and she got the honor and all the trappings, and on the way home, she said, what did you learn? I didn't get to go. I said, Mom, I didn't learn anything. I was pushing you around all day. Mom once says there are three reasons you can learn as she did. You must want to learn. Your teacher wants you to learn. Your parents have high expectations for you to learn. I was invited to a Zoom event recently to almost 100 young 4th graders from California last spring from San Jose. I'd like to share a few comments and questions they asked in their letters to me, because I made maybe a mistake of saying because they weren't able to ask but about 3 or 4 questions in our Zoom process. And I said, well, if you write to me, I'll answer and send it back to you. So a week later, the teacher called and said, Ms. Hylick, where would you like for me to send these questions? I said, send them to my house because I knew she was sending them all. I said, well, by the way, how many did you get? She said, 80. So I said, okay. So she sent them, and when I finally realized that school was nearing an end, I said, I've got to get these answers back to these children before the end of the season, because they may go someplace else. But I just thought, just for you to hear what some 4th graders got from possibly either reading the book, listening to the movie, or reading the book. And so I'm just going to share a few of these with you. totally quoted, so they repeat things. One thing I learned was to share your knowledge. Another thing I learned was to try new things. What I meant about this is I don't like to try new things. In my head, I was like, yeah, I should try new things. So now I'm trying to try a few new things every day. Another was, did you ever get upset with segregation? Now these kids are from California, from the Hacienda Environmental Charter School. Next one. One thing I learned was that not giving up gives a better chance of success. I also learned that even though success takes work, it's always possible. Your mom proved that racism does not belong in the world and women can have any job that men have. Fourth graders. You said when you were a child that there were two sides to the city that you lived in. One was for black people and the other was for white people. That was interesting to me, and I'm really glad I learned that. I love how you say you were not inferior or superior. Be confident in yourself. It really made me happy. I remember you said, fast is not always good. Slow is not always bad. Take your time. These are just a few of some of the things these kids had on their minds when they were thinking about mom. And just as the Uvalde situation happened, I said, I've got to get something positive to these children to know that people care. And the teacher wrote back to me when I told her how I was sending them, because I answered every one and sent her the copy and for her to give to the 3 teachers. And she said, not always people take time with the children. So many of you should think about that. Take time with these children and listen to what they have to say, because it may be important. Mom would have been elated that they had learned and understood so much. They received the important principles that she lived and taught from the movie and her books. Being a teacher at heart always made her happy, knowing that these young people got her message. Now, Kathy will finish.
I'm the youngest daughter, Katherine Johnson. And I just want to add an ending to a glorious occasion of the induction of my mother and Joylette's mother into the National Women's Hall of Fame. She was quite a role model for women and for young people, especially the girls. She wasn't interested, but think about it. She had 3 daughters, 1 mathematician, and 2 teachers to try to make up 1 Katherine Johnson. Seriously, she created quite a legacy. Schools bearing her name, NASA facilities, and other buildings bearing her name. And none of this would have been her wish. She was just doing her job. Little girls, we have pictures they would send to us. Little girls dressed in their pink dress, like the Mattel doll, and they made their presentations at school to receive honors. That's what she was about, that young girls saw something of value in learning and doing. Her life was worthy to remember, and it was highlighted in part by President Barack Obama's presentation to her at the Medal of Freedom Awards ceremony in 2015. And you have to pardon me, I might get a little emotional, but I'll hold it in. I quote, "With her razor-sharp mathematical mind, Katherine G. Johnson helped broaden the scope of space travel, charting new frontiers for humanity's exploration of space and creating new possibilities for all mankind. From sending the first American to space to the first moon landing, she played a critical role in many of NASA's most important milestones. Katherine G. Johnson refused to be limited by society's expectations of her gender and race, while expanding the boundaries of humanity's reach. End of quote. In hindsight, thinking of the impact Mom had on her daughters, her family, the community, it has had a ripple effect. We went back to work to tell the story. We have spoken to many groups, and we've gone from the state of Washington to the continent of Africa and Johannesburg, South Africa, telling her story. We were on the Today Show, presenting an overview of her last book, My Remarkable Journey. Sharing her story with others guarantees she will never be a hidden figure anymore, nor the other women nor all of the other women who have followed or before. And that just makes us mindful of what learning something new will do. It'll give us new insight and keep women in the forefront. So thank you again for honoring Mom, along with our special friends. We are proud to represent her. Thank you. And thank Frank and our ambassadors.
We would just like to say one more thing, that we thank the National Women's Hall of Fame, who gave us the two best ambassadors in all of Seneca Falls, the Kaposis. Thank you.
Welcome Katherine Johnson to the National Women's Hall of Fame.